folks. Welcome to another 5-ish minutes with a maker. Today, I am joined by Richard Wilkes. He is the man behind Wilkes Wings Sauce here. I'm going to be sampling 2 of these today and tell you guys what I think. But first of all, hey, welcome, Richard. Thanks for making time for us.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. Glad to be here.
You bet. So listen, man, first things first, tell us, how did all this come to be? How did you start this thing?
Well, I'm a huge connoisseur of buffalo wings, a fan of football, be it college or professional. And years ago, 2010 to be exact, I had grown weary of the mundane flavors wing flavors I would get at my local wing shop. So I thought I'd play around in the kitchen for a while with some ingredients I like, and serendipitously, I came up with some sauces. Tried them out on family and friends, and they encouraged me to write down or record the recipes because they were very tasty. You know, I'm thinking of course, my family and friends are going to say that. It wasn't until I started competing in wing festivals, the Memphis Hot Wing Festival, the annual Memphis Hot Wing Festival to be exact, and I placed third place among 45 contestants my very first year competing. And then afterwards, the year afterward, I placed runner-up. And that's when it dawned on me, hey, I might have something on my hands here.
That's right. Yeah. And so these, I've got 2, like I said, I'm going to sample now. Now, the first question I got to know also with these sauces, should I drizzle? Should I dip? How do I enjoy these as the creator intended?
I am a fan of drizzle. But if you're a fan of dipping, have at it.
I may do a little of both. So look, I've got this whiskey sauce here. It's a little thick, I noticed. And then the Sweet Heat, you had mentioned to me earlier, is sort of the flagship. So how do you come up with different flavors, different product ideas? Where do those originate from? How long do they take to develop?
Well, once again, I developed these based on my preference because honestly, I had no intentions on bottling them. It was strictly for my enjoyment. So once again, I resorted to those ingredients that I like most. As you referred to the thickness of the sauces, they have high quality ingredients, a great amount of honey to be exact. So that's one of the ingredients that differentiates my products from the others and give it a robust, unique flavor profile.
Absolutely, and I started with dipping, and the Sweet Heat, it definitely is both sweet and heat without being off-putting. I think sometimes when folks are out there with a sauce or a product like that, it can overwhelm, especially when they really start playing with heat. Why did you mentioned you just love wings, so is that why you wanted to focus in that category? Because look, I've seen a lot of barbecue sauces, I've seen a lot of different marinades in my time running Bash, but I've never seen someone who claims to just be, if you will, a wing sauce. I mean, I can imagine putting this on lots of other stuff, but what is it that drives you? Is it just your love for the wing?
My love for the wing and also my knowledge of the chicken industry. During my time at International Paper as a marketing manager and a part of their sales team, International Paper has a huge, or is one of the top suppliers of poultry boxes to chicken processors here in the US. And I learned through my experiences there how wings, that part of the chicken, is the most expensive part because of the increasing demand for it. At one time, the chicken breast was the most expensive part of the meat of the chicken. Now it's hands down the chicken wing. So my love for buffalo wings, my knowledge of the wing industry, I put those two together, and I understood, hey, there is a huge lucrative opportunity for this market, and just evaluating what was out there as far as grocery stores. And as I mentioned beforehand, with some of the restaurants, very limited flavor options, or I would say lesser quality. So I saw a market opportunity to introduce something in that category, high quality and with premium ingredients.
Oh, well, and I can taste that. I mean, I just had one with the whiskey sauce, and yeah, it's nice and thick. You mentioned the honey there. I'm a whiskey guy, so I really love that taste. It's really smooth. And by the way, this is, I've interviewed a lot of different makers. We obviously work with a lot of folks who make snacks. So usually I'm just sort of snacking on peanuts or popcorn or cookies, but now I got a whole meal here, which is fantastic. My wife might be upset. She loves wings as well. And obviously isn't here right now, but that's part of the perks of the job, I guess. But so tell me about this year. I mean, anything but normal, anything what any of us thought 2020 would look like when the year began. So what have things looked like for you since, about March when this pandemic set in?
Yeah, I still feel like I'm in bizarro land. I'm going to wake up from a dream. To say the least, I think every American can say, or every person worldwide can say, this has been a year for the story, for the record book. Pre-pandemic, we were gearing up to once again expand the brand awareness of Wilkes Wings across various channels, be it food service, restaurant, retail, and of course, e-commerce. But when the pandemic hit, everything came to a halt, and everyone is trying to reassess, how do we manage through this? The fortunate thing is many of the smaller restaurants that I provide sauces to, they have been able to survive because they had a solid customer base, and they were able to provide curbside service, online ordering, and once again, just the loyalty of the customer base that they had established. So from that standpoint, things have pretty much remained steady, or in some cases improved within that channel. And I must say now people are, doing more cooking at home, want to try new products. That has worked, paid dividends for me from an e-commerce standpoint. So from those two channels, things have pretty much been good for me through this pandemic. From a retail and my endeavor to penetrate the mass distributors like your Cisco's, that's been a bit of a snail pace because from a corporate standpoint, people are working remotely, trying to, still develop plans on how to navigate through the pandemic, and that has slowed things a bit. But for overall, things have still been steady pace for the Wilkes Wings brand.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. Not just the community you've built with these smaller retailers, independent restaurants, but then therefore the community they've built as well.
Exactly.
Find time and again that community wins. So it's with that in mind, you had big ambitions at the beginning of this year. You've had to shift a little bit. What's next for you? Be it new flavors, more reach. Obviously, there's still a lot of things that are unpredictable. But what are you, where you as a small business owner are sitting right now? What's next for you?
Well, I'm still learning, how the market is accepting the product. As you mentioned, I started out positioning it as a buffalo wing sauce, but with recurring, customers or customers who are going from repeat trial to loyal customers, they're coming back telling me, hey, I use your sweet heat as a substitute for barbecue sauce.
Boom.
I had one gentleman tell me he used the whiskey sauce you just sampled as a dipping sauce for his, Chinese egg rolls. So what I'm learning is that there are more use for the sauce as just the original buffalo wing sauce that I intended. So that's awesome because that opens up more doors, more trials, and things of that nature. So moving forward, I am trying to, definitely gain inroads with some of the aforementioned distributors. Because if I can create more touch points, build more brand awareness, that helps me out tremendously. I'm also looking to perhaps partner with a restaurant. I've knocked on doors with deli shops, from either your Subways, Jersey Mike's, what have you, because wings and sub sandwiches go together, as well as pizzerias. There are a lot of regional pizzerias that are popping up. And if they don't have wings on their menu, I'm encouraging them to consider doing so and having Wilkes Wings as a signature sauce. So I'm going that route as well, and definitely continuing to build my e-commerce presence, because that has helped me as well as a lot of other small businesses during this pandemic, to stay afloat, the e-commerce channel. So those are
Absolutely.
just some of the things. Yeah. And as far as new flavors, I already have 4 flavors that are in the archives. I didn't want to release all 7 flavors
Okay.
and risk cannibalization. So the 3 that I have out to the market, they are the pillars, the cornerstones, if you will. And then I have some 4 others that I would like to release at a later date.
Hey, that sounds awesome. And
Yeah.
no, no, I can at least vouch for these 2. So maybe I can get on some sort of sneak peek list to get to try those out, because I'm always
Definitely.
down for a good plate of wings for sure.
Oh,
Well, listen,
definitely.
Richard, thanks for your time, man. Love your product. Appreciate you making time for our audience here to share a little bit more about your story.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And be sure to visit us at wilkeswings.com, www.wilkeswings.com. Thanks again, Sam.
You bet.